Hello, welcome to our demonstration of how to set up your coffee machine. When you initially purchase your coffee machine, the boiler in your machine is dry, in other words empty, there is no water in it. So is the tank. The very first step you need to do is fill the tank before even plugging in your machine, then plug in your machine, then start up your machine and immediately run the pump so that the water is transferred from the tank to the boiler and then back out the brew head. As soon as a solid stream of water comes out the brew head, you can switch that off. Now the boiler has been charged full with water and you now need to let your machine warm up thoroughly. Somewhere around 20-25 minutes, 30 minutes for some machines. If you want to shortcut that period of time, the quickest way of doing so is waiting for the boiler lights to go off and cycling your pump by running your pump for a few seconds till the boiler light comes back on, switching the pump off, waiting until the boiler light goes out, and then redoing this several times in order to heat up all the components of the machine. The 25 minutes is required in order to make sure that all the parts of the machine, not just the water in the boiler, is hot. As the water from the boiler is being transferred by the pump to make coffee, it may come into contact with cold components which will steal most of the heat from the hot water. The end result in that case will be that the water temperature will drop, and as the water gets to the coffee grounds, it will get there not at the correct temperature and under extract from the coffee grounds. It's now 25-30 minutes later. Your machine has thoroughly heated up. If you put your hand to the brew head and underneath onto the portafilter, you shouldn't be able to hold your fingers there for anything more than 2-3 seconds before it becomes too hot to the touch. That means the machine is now thoroughly warmed up and ready to be set up. If you have a grinder, you need to balance the grinder to your machine. It's the most important step in the entire process. What we're looking to achieve is a certain amount of resistance within the portafilter when the pump pressurizes the portafilter. So in other words, we're looking for a delay of anywhere between 5 to 7 seconds before any coffee is allowed to come out of these spouts into your cup. That is the most important measurement. And the way we achieve this is we grind a test cup and run the pump and see what the delay will be, and at that point we'll then decide whether we need to go coarser or finer to find the balance. It is of paramount importance during that period that the tamping action, that is your tamping of the coffee, is consistent all the time. Otherwise you will end up getting a variance in performance all the time from the machine that is not due to the grind setting but due to the tamp. So that tamp has to be consistent. If you're having difficulty achieving the correct tamp pressure, there are tampers around that are pre-tensioned to 30 pounds pressure, and you only need to push down and then release, and you will have compacted or tamped your coffee grounds correctly. These are only available in 57. These are available in 57, 58s. There's Reg Barbers, which are 49s, and there are many other sizes that you can purchase for your individual machine. The process of balancing the machine or finding the balance in the machine is exactly the same regardless what coffee machine you have. If it costs £150 or if it costs £4,000, the process is exactly the same. Right, in order to test the balance in your machine, we have to grind a portion, reattach the portafilter to the machine and switch on the pump and see what the initial time delay was before the coffee started coming out the portafilter. Usually I tell customers to set their grinder to a medium setting. It is no importance where you start off, as long as you have established that it's either less than 5 to 7 seconds or more than 5 to 7 seconds, you know in which direction to go. I will demonstrate this now. We remove the portafilter and place it underneath the hopper. Start up the grinder and start to dispense immediately. You may have to knock it a bit. And then switch off the grinder. We do this in order to avoid a lot of ground coffee accumulating in the hopper itself, so that we don't waste any of it should the setting be incorrect. We then place it on the support and take the tamper, place it squarely at the top, and then press down firmly and twist off once. And that's what it should look like. Wipe the top of it to prevent any coffee grounds from accumulating over there, because they will damage your group head seal eventually. Reattach it to your machine as firmly as you can. place a single cup underneath it. We're not going to drink this coffee, we're not going to taste it, we simply want to establish the time. And you begin to count from the moment you switch on the pump. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Right, the coffee exited off after about 4 seconds. As you can see, there is a fair amount of crema. It has developed reasonably well, but I personally feel that that was a little bit too quick. So we need to set the grinder a fraction finer. And this we do by turning the hopper to a lower number. I've gone 2 stops immediately because it simply does not make sense to only move one at a time. You'll be spending hours trying to get the balance. So let's start over again. We're not even going to drink this. Just going to chuck it out and make another cup quickly. Right, as from the previous shot you saw, it was a little bit better, but it wasn't a hell of an improvement. So I've set the grinder a further 2 steps finer, and we'll try another test shot. Okay, again we tamp that. Wipe the top again, reattach it to the machine. And again we place the cup underneath, and again it's just for a test and not for drinking as such as it is now. Okay? 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 5-second delay. Again, crema development is excellent. I think you could either stop there, or if you like something that's a bit stronger, you could set the grinder a fraction finer further, 1 or 2 stops more, and you'll find that the crema will become darker, more striated, and you'll have a much stronger tasting cup of coffee. Now this, of balancing your machine or setting your machine and your grinder up, is the most important part of once you've got your coffee machine. Once you have the setting correct, there's very little need to adjust your grinder later on, except on occasion when you find the humidity levels are very high in the room, you may need to grind a fraction coarser, or you switch beans in the hopper from one to another type. You may find you need to adjust your grinder a fraction coarser or a fraction finer in order to achieve the same sort of result.